Hello, I am Onision, and this is Blaire White. I could make this entire video about my history with Blaire White. Like, for instance, that time she got a tweet removed for posting a drawing of her violating someone else in a completely illegal and horrifying manner. We all know that if I tweeted a picture or drawing of myself violating someone on Twitter in a totally illegal manner, and we're talking about something that's very perverted, that as a man I would be kicked out of society practically. But because Blaire White identifies as a woman, I guess she gets a free pass, and she can just post drawings of her violating people. It's no big deal.
I'm not telling you, but I'm flat out telling you that it wasn't rape. And at the end of the day, it's just
tell the victim whether or not they're raped. The victim gets to decide that.
You're not a victim. I didn't rape you.
Getting raped.
Do you feel like a rape victim in this moment, Greg?
Why would I say I feel like a rape victim? I was a victim
yourself
of
a victim. A victim of a drawing.
Yes. And as you can see, Onision has done a video on Blaire White, and she has already done a video on this, but there was a lot more content in his actual video that I really wanted to get through, so I thought we'd go through the video and I would debunk every single one of his arguments.
Now first off, let's talk about Blaire White allegedly being a conservative. Blaire White being a member of the LGBT community, that's absolutely ridiculous. Conservatives have a long history of being anti-Blaire White, aka anti-transgender. And what was the result of Blaire White supporting conservatives? Of course, transgender people being banned from the military. Good job, Blaire White. You are your own enemy.
Well, Onision, we can say the exact same thing about you. You're a white person, you're part of the Democrats, and the Democrats have a massive problem with white people at the moment, where they actually have literally people that go on stage and say that their job is to shut other white people down. So, why are you with the Democrats? They're obviously working against your interests. They're discriminating against you just purely because of your skin color. So, yeah, what's your response to that, mate? Here, I'll show you a clip. This is from the DNC.
And my job is to shut other white people down when they want to interrupt. My job is to shut other white people down when they want to say, oh no, I'm not prejudiced. I'm a Democrat. I'm accepting. My job is to make sure that they get that they have privilege, and until we shut our mouths.
This is a testament to the intelligence of Blaire White. Now, I spoke before about Blaire White's honesty. I wholeheartedly believe that she is incredibly dishonest. This was partially due to Blaire White defending her misleading titles of her videos in this debate described as a train wreck, where during the debate, Blaire White was getting drunk, repeatedly muted me. I don't know how many times. It was an overwhelming amount.
Yeah, I watched that debate. She kept muting you because you kept talking over her constantly. And apparently that's part of your debating tactics. Also, you like to claim a lot of things are facts, which clearly aren't. And the drunk part, I don't really care. She seemed to handle you quite effectively, so she enjoyed herself while doing it. I don't see why that's a problem. Do you have a problem with people drinking, or is this just any attempt to smear her whatsoever? I'm not sure.
Hurled countless childish insults at me. And what did the majority of people do? They declared that Blaire White won the debate because those people, like Blaire White, have an obvious agenda that's immune to actual facts.
Yep, coming from the feminist. Okay, sure, it's us that has the agenda. And I guess in a lot of people's opinion, she won. I think she won, by far. You didn't really have any arguments there, Onision. You just claim a lot of things are facts without really backing it up with any sort of evidence.
Because again, like Blaire White, her audience is dishonest. But back to Snopes. Snopes concluded that it's true that Blaire White did get in an altercation over her red Make America Great Again hat when she went to an anti-Trump protest. Now, where it's very clear that someone was misleading was that police stated, you know, those people that don't have incentive to lie about Blaire White. Meanwhile, Blaire White has every incentive to lie about what happened to suit her agenda. They stated that her and her boyfriend initiated the altercation by crossing the LAPD dividing line, meant to keep opposing sides separate to prevent violence.
Okay, so maybe she shouldn't have crossed the line, but still, they attacked her for wearing a hat. I can't believe you are defending the people that are so emotionally wired that they feel like they are in the right when they attack someone for wearing a hat that they disagree with. Okay, you use a lot of loaded language, Onision. If you walked into a church with a Satan shirt, you still shouldn't be assaulted. Let's try it like that. It's just ridiculous. I really dislike people that defend any sort of group that uses violence against people that are doing nothing wrong. But yeah, no, Blaire White's the wrong one. How is she lying here? She was assaulted, but what? Clickbaiting? Is that what you're saying?
In other words, Blaire White dropped a chicken in a room full of hungry wolves. All for what? Of course, to get more views on her channel.
Oh wow, YouTubers wanting views. Shock. Aren't you the king of clickbait and causing drama, which isn't necessary? Wasn't that your whole shtick, Onision? Are you what, rewriting yourself as this hero for women? Didn't you have a booby squeeze at the end of your videos? I don't understand how anyone takes this guy seriously, but okay. But still, yes, it is a bit provocative, but it's not as bad as you're saying. It's just she wore a hat in Hollywood. As the title said, she got assaulted because of it. Because apparently people in Hollywood are, yeah, just a little bit nutty.
I think most anyone can conclude, just looking at the title of this video. Blaire White is implying she was just walking along wearing a hat and randomly got attacked, and didn't walk over to a protest that is strongly against a cause, and she is directly initiating conflict with those individuals, knowing where they stand, and trying to create a problem with them.
No, that title isn't correct. She did not incite violence, and her title is actually true. Whatever implications you take away from it, that's your own. I don't take that she was just randomly attacked. A lot of people go to protesters and interview them. But she was assaulted while wearing a hat in Hollywood. That was the reason why they got triggered at her. Okay? So she's in the right, and you are just getting or hurt over nothing.
This doesn't excuse violence. Let me put it in perspective. I, as a reasonable American, am not going to go to a Planned Parenthood and start screaming at everyone that they're a monster. I'm not going to walk into a church with a shirt that says, "I love the devil." And I'm not going to go to a Trump rally and start chanting, "You suck," because guess what? When I do that, I'm inciting a negative reaction.
Yes, but you should be able to do all of those without being assaulted. And also, Onision, aren't you the person that did the fat song? Aren't you the person that picks on people all the time? I don't understand how now you are taking the moral high ground, which you have in no way earned. What, because your channel actually is dying and you have to try and, what, change it up so you're now a feminist hero? Mr. Booby Squeeze? Seriously, this dude causes drama and it, you know, insults people all the time, and now he's getting butthurt. Talk about an absolute lunatic.
And so to play victim after I incited a negative reaction, that seems a little illogical. But that's why Blaire White is here, right? To create problems. What was her goal in inciting this? This woman takes groups and tries to point out the most negative aspects of those groups without really delivering the full picture, the fair picture, the majority of the picture, the actual picture. An example of one of Blaire White's videos, Feminism, the Biggest Joke, where Blaire White seeks out only the most ridiculous people in the group and portrays them as if they are representative of the entire group. And then Blaire White will tweet such ignorant things, implying that women have all the same rights as men.
So you are saying that women have less rights than men. Okay, this is going to be incredibly interesting. Let's see how women are oppressed in 2017 Western society.
Blaire White, it's almost as if you didn't think about it before you tweeted it. Look at this map. According to Blaire White's ignorant tweets, this map would obviously be equated amongst men and women, when in fact, these are states where it is legal or illegal for women to go topless in public. These laws are not relevant to men. So Blaire White, you literally tweeted something that is absolutely untrue while acting like it's completely true. This is just one of many examples where women do not have the same rights as men. And to any Blaire White supporters watching this is an undeniable fact.
Really, Onision, you're trying to prove that women have less rights than men, and you pick something so innocuous that literally means nothing. Okay, so you think because women can't walk around topless in a couple of states in America that they are just being oppressed, that they have less rights. Let's check out some rights that they have that men don't. Number one, genital integrity. They have the right to, at least legally, not have to fear about getting their genitals mutilated, while men, sadly, don't have that right. Number two, women have the right to vote without agreeing to die. Obviously, he's being a bit hyperbolic, but what he means is, and this isn't mine, I just found this on a website, that men have to agree to go into the draft in the United States to vote. Women don't, and I love that bit where it says that women can vote on a government that will send men to war that they don't have to worry about. So literally, they get to vote by purely just being alive, while the men have to agree to maybe go fight and die for something they have no control over. That's fantastic. Well, oh no, women can't walk around topless in a couple of states of America. Let's get feminism right away. And number 3 is, obviously, it's about a man's right over their child. Women can abort their child. Women can force the man to pay. But legally, a man has no way of making that woman or saving the baby or wanting to abort the baby. He has no legal rights. So do you see that the women's problems from what you've shown is that it's just innocuous, ridiculous, you know, just go petition your government, you should be able to fix it. While the problems that men are having are, you know, extreme life ruining. But yeah, it's just a fact. Women just have less rights than men. Geez, I think you should look up the word fact, as your opinion or your lack of research does not equal a fact. And I don't have to agree with anything, Onision. Seriously, have you done any research on this whatsoever? That was the first freaking link made.
Blaire White on this issue is wrong, and I am right, because I actually use evidence to support my argument.
Yeah, it honestly just seems like that you're annoyed that maybe you live in one of those states and you can't see women topless. What you have done is you have cherry-picked one single example and then just claimed that women just have less rights than men, without looking up, hey, well maybe there's some rights that women actually do have that men don't. And if you're trying to prove a point, you obviously would choose one of your best examples. And literally, if your best example is just that women can't walk around topless in, I think it was 3 states that they couldn't do it, then you just seem like a creep, dude. Wow, you can't see titties on the street in a couple of states. Oh no, move on. Move to another state if you have to, if it's that big a deal for you.
And to all the anti-feminists out there, you at this point have to, if you're even remotely honest, admit that women do not have the same rights as men.
Well, Onision, then you at this point have to admit that from what you've shown in your video, and I've shown in my video, that women actually have more rights than men. Now, I'm not actually saying that they do, because there's a lot more to it. But from what you have shown and from what I have shown, you are wrong. And us anti-feminists don't have to do anything, because you have not put forward an adequate argument whatsoever. Basically, your entire video is, I can't see titties, oh no. Go to Pornhub, dude. Seriously, ask a man if he would either, let's change it to not go topless in America, so he can't go topless anywhere, or maybe going to a war and dying for something that he may fundamentally disagree with. I think he's going to choose not going topless. But yeah, no, women have it just so incredibly bad in America. Yeah, this is just, man, your stick is so old. I don't think you're going to be able to rewrite yourself as this feminist hero. Mr. Booby Squeeze. That's so feminist, right?
Again, I used one of many examples, but the one example that I did use is undeniable.
Well, why would you use one of many examples, not show any other examples, and make your one example ridiculous? And okay, well, I've had 3 that I'm going to say trump your pathetic, innocuous, ridiculous one, where a man may lose his child if a woman decides that she doesn't want it. Honestly, you claim that we are the ideologues, and yet you put out this video and then you literally rest women have less rights than men on top of they can't go topless in a couple of...
So take your bowl of defeat and choke it down because you earned it.
Okay, yep. So you've just won. I get the impression that Onision thinks that he's just dropped the microphone like, you know, the artists do when they've completely destroyed their opponent. But in actual fact, Onision, you have run onto the stage, screamed just insanity into the microphone, shit yourself, and then run off. And now we're just all laughing at you. You can claim victory all you want, my friend, but your entire argument rests on you can't see titties in a couple of states in America. And you didn't try and look at the other side whatsoever, and now you're claiming that women just have less rights. Congratulations. I don't know if you can make yourself look like more of a fool.
Here's an actual feminist rally. Do you see anything irrational here? I don't. And here's people that are rallying around not killing women. Oh my gosh, so irrational, Blaire White.
So Onision, you do realize that just taking images of Google and then claiming that that's the entire movement is not an argument, right? But let's do it then. This is Big Red. She was getting annoyed at some MRA people. This is a feminist pouring piss onto Lauren Southern's head because so progressive. This was a feminist that was ordering a poor journalist to be dragged away because he had the audacity of recording. Now this guy, he did something in space or something. But hey, who cares about that, because he wore a sexist shirt that his female friend gave to him. And the feminist mob basically executed him. His best achievement he's ever done, who cares about that? He decided to wear a sexist shirt. But oh no, feminists, they just never did nothing. They're just innocent little princesses that are represented exclusively by a couple of pictures that you've taken off the internet. You do realize, Onision, that that is not an argument. I'm not saying that my pictures represent the entire group, but once again, like I said, I didn't make that claim. You did.
Guys, I don't even have to hunt these down. I don't even have to try to misrepresent the truth like Blaire White regularly does. I don't have to hunt for examples of my cause. All I had to do was Google feminist rally. And you'll see, just like I've been saying all this time, the majority of feminists are actually stating non-extreme things. Yet so many people on YouTube, like Blaire White, will have you believe a total lie.
Okay, Onision, well, let's say Google American inventors. By your logic, most of the American inventors were apparently black. Because look, I googled it, see, American inventors, United States, and then there you go. There's only one white guy there. Do you see why just googling stuff and finding images is not an argument, Onision? What the hell are you talking about? And hey, I wanted to obviously bring up the US inventors. It's still like this. Ah, man, I love Google. They will just push their ideology in hilarious ways.
Because believe it or not, Blaire White is fake news. Blaire White is the fake source of information. Blaire White has her agenda of drama with little to no relevant substance because it is so agenda-driven. And her agenda is so irrational considering how the people she defends, that being conservatives, how overwhelmingly opposed to LGBT conservatives consistently are.
Well, Onision, the Democratic Party doesn't seem to particularly like white people too much, as I've shown, and that's just one person. But also, you do realize that transgender people aren't a hive mind. And finally, the Democratic Party want to open up the borders to mass migration, which a lot of that's going to be coming from the third world, which don't really particularly have the best views on her type of, you know, status. It's really not good. Plus, Hillary Clinton, which was the Democratic candidate, has taken millions in her foundation from, say, Saudi Arabia, you know, those type of countries in the Middle East that just treat people from the LGBT so incredibly well. So there is actually a lot more to the story, and if you look at it from a broader scope, you could actually see why Blaire would be a conservative. And hey, there's a lot of us on the right wing. I literally don't care if she's trans or not, because we just care about ideas. Okay? And she seems like a nice person. She's doing a lot more for the movement than, say, the 6'3" dude with a wig on, threatening people like Ben Shapiro to go home in an ambulance, which doesn't even make any sense.
Google conservative USA vote LGBT, and it's pretty obvious which party most any member of LGBT should stand by. And it's been this way for a very long time. So you'd have to be blatantly dishonest, ignorant, or downright dumb to say that conservatives have the best interest out of all the parties when it comes to LGBT.
Do you realize that some, LGBT people do actually vote conservative? And just because more of a group does something doesn't mean you should do it as well, okay? Once again, they're not just one hive mind. They can have their own opinions, Onision. Just like I wouldn't want to be grouped with you and share the same opinion as you just because I'm white. That'd be just awful.
In fact, to be a conservative and LGBT at the same time, you would have to be pretty self-destructive. As in, you're so strong in your opinions against yourself that you would support this while also identifying as that, not realizing that those two things are contradictions and eat each other alive.
Yeah, you know, those conservatives, they just want to hate the gays. They just hate those gays. They just want to take them outside into the barn. Come on, dude. This is... Okay, you're white, so why are you supporting the Democratic Party when the Democratic Party hates you and wants to silence you purely because of your skin color? Okay? I can use your own logic against you in every single case. And you're just like, fact, fact, fact.
If anyone doesn't understand my frustration with Blaire White at this point, I don't know how to help you.
Yeah, because apparently you're an idiot that can't really put forth any sort of rational argument and thus just claim everything you say is fact because you're Lord Onision from up high that should command us just, you know, mere mortals because we're just too dumb apparently. Anyway, we're getting to the end. This is getting a bit long. I apologize.
Looks like this girl wants to be a 15-year-old typical high school girl for the rest of her life and thinks she knows what she's talking about when it comes to politics by supporting the Conservative Party while simultaneously being the enemy of the Conservative Party.
Yeah, I don't think transgender people are the enemy of the Conservative Party. Please be slightly more hyperbolic. They're not chucking them off buildings. They're not trying to make them, you know, not have... you know, legal status as humans or anything like that. They're actually not people. So just relax a bit, Onision, the enemy of the Conservative Party. Yeah, it's a really strong statement. Is that another one of those facts that you keep telling us about?
And to all LGBT members, a message from Blaire White: Trump is your president, get over it. Just get over him being anti-LGBT and trying to ban you from the military. Just get over this blatant attack on who you are.
Yeah, well, context matters, Onision, because that video was directed at the people that were doing the hashtag not my president marches and tweets. So Blaire was saying he actually is because he was elected. Get over it. That's what she's saying. She's saying get over it in the fact that he actually was elected. You cannot like that he was elected, but you at least should have the ability to admit that he was.
Guess what, Blaire? You're part of LGBT. You are trans. And that means that conservatives, the group that you make yourself a part of, are opposed to you.
Oh yeah, just all conservatives just fundamentally against Blaire White. It's their sole mission to defeat her. Jeez, and I cut out a section where he was basically saying Blaire White is like the black friend to racists. So people can say, oh look, well I follow Blaire White so I'm not transphobic. I don't actually think many people are transphobic. It's just they have an issue when, say, there's laws trying to be enacted to curtail speech so that people are forced to use ridiculous pronouns. And that's not even really transgender. That's the gender neutral loopy people that there's 72 genders and that, you know, you can be Z one day, they the next, a boy then a girl, or both. Just fantasy land. I think there's a difference between transgender people and gender neutral people. And if I was a transgender person, I would be just putting myself as far away from the gender neutral people as possible, as it really does. It does
OJ,
hurt
guess what that makes you?
achieve.
That makes you just like the token friend. See, I'm not against people of this skin color. Here I am in a photo with them. Wow, I must not be phobic. Oh, I'm not transphobic. I'm subscribed to Blaire White. That makes all my arguments more valid, and you can no longer say I'm anti-LGBT. And Blaire White, here's a little fact for you as well. I know you don't like facts. What you like is your own feelings. But at some point, I hope that your facts trump your feelings, because when they do, you'll actually be living in reality rather than the fantasy you created to suit your own self-hating agenda.
Yeah, Creepo, she's the one that's living in the fantasy. And I know you keep saying facts, but just because you say facts repeatedly doesn't mean that you actually have any. Okay? It's not like you've put forth this amazing argument and now you're just winding down. Your entire facts are what? You can't see titties, or women can't show their titties in a couple of states in America. That's your entire argument, Onision. So, if you actually want to bring some facts to the conversation, I will listen. Until then, you're just that shitting kid that's running off the stage. You are just making yourself look like an utter fool.
Less trans people voted for Trump than they did for Romney. That means likely the mass majority of trans people, like you, strongly disagree with your shut up, he's our president, deal with it stance.
It's called context, and who cares? If everyone jumped off a building, would you do it as well, Onision? Seriously, just because some other people, even a majority of other people that have the, you know, a transgender, doesn't mean Blaire has to agree with them. because everyone's an individual. They're allowing their own thoughts and feelings. Why are you advocating for Blaire just to follow the group like a sheep? I know that's what you Democrats love, but yeah, Blaire's an individual. She doesn't have to follow anyone just because, what, does she have to follow you because you're white now? Because, you know, all white people should just agree? Do you see how ridiculous this is, Onision?
In fact, one could easily conclude, based on statistics, that you have made yourself quite the enemy, not only of yourself, but of people like you.
Well, the people that concluded that are morons. Probably people that would use, women can't show their tits in a couple of states as some grand argument for women have less rights. Yeah, those people. Whoever's saying that's just freaking moronic.
That being the LGBT community. And maybe that's because most LGBT people had a respectable amount of information on those candidates and realized how anti-LGBT the now vice president is. And oh yeah, they were right, because Trump is trying to take away LGBT jobs by banning them from the military. And oh yeah, that's right, Trump himself, despite saying that he's pro-LGBT, has been trying to take away LGBT rights.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it with the military. I don't know if I agree with it or not, but I have seen a lot of information about it's about the conditions that they're put in, and thus, in at least combat roles, the drugs that people use to transgender can really affect your emotions, and thus, it's that whole thing. Now, I think that they should be allowed to serve, obviously, in non-fighting roles, yeah, I can honestly see the argument for why, like, in certain stages at least, they wouldn't be fit, because the military stops people for a bunch of reasons.
If you could stop going to feminist rallies and harassing people, if you could please stop trying to create problems or otherwise create needless dramatic situations for the sake of propelling your own career, which is loaded with anti-LGBT content.
Just because you say something repeatedly doesn't make it true, and you do realize there's something called a counter-protest. And you do realize that those protesters are actually, what, they can be classified as causing problems as well? Why don't those protesters just go away? Onision, Mr. Fact Lord, when you do a video next, like, I'm still quite new to this, I'm trying to improve my channel, but I'm not just freaking running around making opinions and then just claiming it's all fact, and that Blaire White is the enemy of herself, of the LGBT community, that the conservatives are all just the enemies of her, and just making these wide, broad claims with literally nothing to back it up, Mr. Booby Squeeze. And yet, yeah, women have no rights because you can't see their tits, right? Oh my gosh, seriously. This guy is probably the biggest creep. Which, as we've seen, a lot of male feminists generally turn out to be like that. Of course he picks... Of course, he says he has a bunch of them. Why is he picking the most perverted one out of all of them? I have no idea.
As well as a horrifyingly dishonest representation of women who just want equal rights to men, which, by the way, you're a person who identifies as a woman, so maybe you should do as the majority of women want and start defending women rather than trying to shut them down.
Yeah, I don't think Blaire White should just do something because other women are doing it. And you do realize there's women out there like Ann Coulter, right, Onision? Are you really advocating for everyone just to agree with Ann Coulter because she's a woman? There's actually a lot of women that follow her, so hey, those other women are doing it. Or your women friends, I'm guessing Lainey, she has to now agree with Ann Coulter and follow everything that Ann Coulter says. What? You don't like Ann Coulter? Well, too bad. We're using your logic here, mate. She's a woman. There's a lot of other women that follow Ann Coulter. So, yep, just follow someone because they have the same sex as you. Why not? That's just such a incredible argument.
And Blaire White, this is the main reason why I have a problem with you. It's not that you celebrated a drawing of you committing a criminal act against me. It's not you constantly muting me during our debate. It wasn't the fact that you were so irresponsibly getting intoxicated. It wasn't the onslaught of insults you threw at me. It wasn't even you advertising falsely to the public that at the time I was running a forum that didn't specifically say only post here if you're 18 plus.
Actually, for that particular point, she admitted that she was wrong in your debate months ago. I've run out of time. This has gone a lot longer than I thought it would. So, yeah, but yeah, she admitted that, Onision. And I think you actually are just pissed that, yeah, she was making jokes about you from a cartoon. Man, it's a cartoon. It's a picture. Oh, come on, dude. You make songs of people about being fat and how bad it is and everything. See, the selective outrage that comes from you is, it's pretty shocking, actually. You have done so many videos attacking so many people, and now you're the moral arbiter of goodness. Feminists for you, absolute, complete, and utter hypocrites.
Blaire, it wasn't the slander, it wasn't any of these things. What this is really about is what an absolute tragedy you are when it comes to the LGBT community. You are propelling an agenda promoting hate against women who stand up for other women. And yes, men can be feminists too. Is this such an irrational statement?
Dude, what is this, like 2005 or something? Yes, men can be feminists. It's like you've come into this super late and you're like, oh, I'm a male feminist. Yeah, go meet the Motivator Opinion, Kevin Logan, Michael Rowlands. There are other male feminists out there, and they are as ridiculous as you. It's just that you have a ton more subscribers, even though this feels like, at this point, to be real low-hanging fruit, mate. I would really suggest that instead of just getting pissed at her next time, you should actually look at your own actions as... yeah, you really have no argument here.
Think that these feminists are wrong? Do you think that violence should be committed towards women? Because you clearly think feminists are so ridiculous. Do you think that this guy is a joke, this feminist? No, you want everyone to believe that feminists are just totally irrational, insane people. Because it's as I said, you're not honest. You are a fraud and you represent an agenda of hate.
Yes, Onision, you are dishonest, you are a fraud, and it seems like you're trying to push your ideology while also save your dying channel. This entire video has just seemed like self-projection, mate. It seems like you've found all your flaws and you've just put them onto Blaire White. But hey, that's just my opinion. I'm not stating that's a fact, because I'm not some idiot like you who thinks there's some god that all us mere mortals should just shut up and listen to Lord Onision as he gives us his commandments from up high. Really, Onision, please stop claiming things are facts when you have no idea what's going on. Makes you just look an utter moron. But anyway, to the people that have got to this point, thank you so much. I've been trying not to do such long videos. I just wanted to do this one because he made a lot of points and they were found wanting. They were ridiculous. But Onision, you really do seem like a creep, mate. You know, the whole booby squeeze, yet now you're a feminist, yet, you know, you get annoyed. It's the only one that you show. The only example is women not being able to go topless. Do you go to those states often? Is that why you're so annoyed? I have no idea. Anyway, I've got a couple more videos coming up. Please check back daily as I upload videos daily. If you've got any suggestions for content or just want to chat with me, come on my Discord. Even you and ECR, you can come on my Discord as well, mate. We can chat about those laws. I'll help you fight them as it seems like it's a big issue for you. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. I always really appreciate it, and I'll catch you all in the next video.